Don't vote for me. I don't want that vote. I don't want a xenophobic vote. I love my African people. The same way I love my mother and my grandmother. I'm in love with Africans. Africans are hated everywhere. You go to America, the black skin is a source of hatred. You go to UK, a black skin is a source of hatred. You're asking me to join in the hatred of black people. I know what the hatred of my skin did during apartheid. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be asked that I should stand at the border, at the fence between Limpopo and Zimbabwe and block a mother who's carrying a child, only crossing to get a medication in Musina and going back to Zimbabwe because there is a problem in Zimbabwe. I refuse to join that chorus. And if that will not make me the president of this country, I'm happy that let me die with my conscience being clear than being a president who has emerged through selling out his own soul. Nobody asked me to feel like this. I feel very strongly about black people. I feel very strong about African continent. And I would rather not be a president because I know for a fact that this is an establishment that is spreading this anti-blackness that we experience everywhere else. It's not true. These jobs in the restaurants, these Lesotho women who are working in our houses, our sisters don't want to work there. They've gone to schools. They want quality jobs. Not that they look down on these jobs. They are saying, I cannot, with a diploma, with N6, with qualifications, go and be a domestic worker. We want more. Who wants to go and work and be paid with wine in the Cape Farms? Who wants to do that of South Africans? Let me and you take trucks and buses now and go and fetch those foreigners who are working there during harvesting season in the Cape wines. Let's go and take them and let's see what's going to happen to those Cape wines. All of those grapes are going to get rotten because our people will never agree to work in exchange for wine. Never will I. Nothing will persuade me. Not the results of the elections, not a gun on my head, not any form of intimidation will persuade me to hate on black people. I will never hate on Africans, not even for votes. Do not vote for me if you don't love Africans and you want me to hate them. I won't do that.
In the previous video, we see how Malema says, please don't vote for him if the vote is going to make him hate another fellow African. Today, we're diving into a hot topic that's got everyone talking. Julius Malema, the firebrand leader of the economic freedom fighters, has made some pretty bold statements recently, and let me tell you, they're causing quite a stir. So what's the deal? Well, Malema's come out swinging, telling people not to vote for him if they are into Dudula or if they have got xenophobic tendencies. That's right, he's drawing a line in the sand and making his stance crystal clear. Now, if you're wondering what Dudula is, let me break it down for you. It's this movement that's been gaining traction in South Africa, and their whole deal is about pushing out foreign nationals. They claim they are just trying to tackle illegal immigration, but critics say it's straight up xenophobia. Malema's not having any of it. He's always been vocal about Pan-Africanism and unity across the continent, so it's no surprise he's taking a stand against anything that smells like xenophobia. But here's the thing, this isn't just about one politician's views. It's sparking a much bigger conversation about identity, belonging, and what it means to be South African in 2023. It's got people asking some tough questions about who we are as a nation and where we are headed. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, is this guy for real? Is he actually telling people not to vote for him? And yeah, it does sound pretty wild at first, but when you think about it, it's a pretty bold move. He's basically saying, these are my values, take him or leave him. It's not every day you see a politician turn away potential voters. Usually they're trying to cast as wide a net as possible, right? But Malema's taking a different approach. He's doubling down on his principles, even if it might cost him some support. And let's be real, this isn't just about votes. It's about setting a tone for the kind of society we want to build. Malema's making it clear that in his vision for South Africa, there's no room for discrimination based on where someone comes from. But of course, not everyone's on board with this message. Some folks are saying he's out of touch with the realities on the ground. They argue that South Africa's got enough problems without worrying about the rest of the continent. And you know what? These are tough issues, There's no easy answer, but the fact that we're having this conversation is important. It's forcing us to confront some uncomfortable truths about our society and what we stand for. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture here. South Africa's got a long and complicated history when it comes to immigration and xenophobia. We've seen some pretty ugly incidents over the years, with violence breaking out against foreign nationals. Malema's statement is a direct challenge to that kind of thinking. He's saying, look, if you're into that Dudula stuff, if you've got beef with people just because they're from somewhere else, then I'm not your guy. It's a pretty powerful message when you think about it, but here's the million-dollar question: will it make a difference? Is this going to change minds, or is it just preaching to the choir? That's the thing about politics, right? Sometimes it's hard to tell if words are going to translate into real change. One thing's for sure, though, it's got people talking. Social media's been blowing up with reactions. You've got folks praising Malema for taking a stand, while others are calling him all sorts of names. It's like he's poked a hornet's nest and everyone's got an opinion, and you know what? That's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes we need these controversial statements to shake us out of our comfort zones and get us thinking about the big issues. But let's break it down a bit more. What exactly is Malema saying when he talks about xenophobia? He's not just talking about the obvious stuff like violence or hate speech. He's digging deeper, challenging the subtle ways we might discriminate without even realizing it. It is about questioning those knee-jerk reactions we might have when we hear a foreign accent or see someone who looks different. It is about recognizing that diversity isn't a threat. It is what makes our country rich and vibrant. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, that's all well and good, but what about jobs? What about crime? And those are valid concerns. No one's saying we shouldn't have proper border control or tackle illegal activities. But Malema's point is that we can't let fear or prejudice drive our policies. We can't paint all foreigners with the same brush. It is about finding that balance between protecting our interests and staying true to our values of Ubuntu and human dignity. And let's not forget, South Africa's got a proud history of standing up against discrimination. We fought long and hard to overcome apartheid. So when Malema talks about rejecting xenophobia, he's tapping into that legacy of fighting for equality and justice. But here's the thing, it's easy to talk the talk. The real test is going to be in how these words translate into action. Will we see concrete policies that protect the rights of foreign nationals? Will there be programs to promote integration and understanding between communities? These are the kinds of questions we need to be asking, because at the end of the day, this isn't just about one politician's stance. It's about the kind of society we want to build for ourselves and for future generations. So what do you think? Is Malema on the right track, or is he missing the mark? It's a complex issue, and there's no easy answer, but one thing's for sure, we can't ignore it. We've got to have these tough conversations if we want to move forward as a nation, and you know what? Maybe that's the real value in statements like this. They force us to confront the uncomfortable truths, to examine our own biases, and to think hard about the kind of country we want to be. So whether you agree with Malema or not, let's keep this conversation going. Let's challenge each other, listen to different perspectives, and work towards building a South Africa that truly lives up to the promise of its Rainbow Nation ideal. Because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. We all want what's best for our country. And maybe, just maybe, by having these difficult discussions, we can find a way forward that works for everyone. So what do you say? Are you ready to tackle these tough issues head on? Are you willing to challenge your own assumptions and listen to different viewpoints? Because that is what it is going to take to build the kind of South Africa we all dream of. Let's keep talking, keep listening, and keep working towards a brighter future for all who call this beautiful country home. Because together we can make a difference. Together we can build a South Africa that's truly united in its diversity.